everybody, welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Today I'm going to talk about some examples or an example of wrong vibrato. So before I go any further, I just want to put out a little disclaimer saying that there are three types of vibrato: finger, arm and wrist vibrato. Whichever vibrato you guys want to do, that's absolutely fine. As long as you're doing one of those three, then everything's great. So I'm not going to go into detail today about exactly how to do vibrato because I have a separate video on that. So how to do vibrato, I'll link that video underneath this video here in the information or description bar underneath. But I just wanted to demonstrate a type of vibrato that some of you may be doing because you're self-teaching at home and you don't have any guidance, or you don't know what's right and what's wrong necessarily. So when I was having a look and doing a little bit of research before I did this video, I noticed there are a lot of videos about how to do vibrato, and that's great. I've got a couple, there's loads of them out there on the internet, but there aren't really any showing you kind of what's not a correct kind of vibrato. And I have seen this with some students at home, mostly not students that have been taught vibrato from me necessarily, but students that have come to me from other teachers, or they're adults and they haven't had a lesson in years and they come back to lessons, come to me, I see their vibrato and it's not quite right and all that. So I just wanted to show you a type of vibrato that is not correct, but I just wanted to give you that as a frame of reference so that you guys know. So like I said before, I'm not going to go into detail onto how exactly to do vibrato because I already have a video onto that which will be linked underneath. This is my own personal way of doing vibrato. So as you can see that my hand is moving, my fingers are moving back, they're kind of rolling on the fingertip, I'm kind of pulling the fingers back and I'm bending the sound. So that is a correct way of doing vibrato. Remember, there are three ways, whichever way you want to do it, that's absolutely fine. But this is a demonstration of vibrato, of kind of a right way of doing vibrato. So the reason why this is a good way of doing vibrato, and by the way, I do have some notes that are just down in front of me here if you think I'm looking, just so that it just helps me stay on point and I can remember exactly all the points I want to get across to you. But the reason why is that the finger and the first joint, which you kind of see, this kind of, the joint that you have here is rolling or kind of curving, and you're almost kind of pulling the finger back. In basic terms, vibrato is kind of altering and bending the pitch of a note. So the closest thing that I can describe it to is maybe a police siren or an ambulance siren. In my vibrato video, which I'll have linked underneath this video, I did do a slow motion version of it, and when I slowed the video down, I left the sound on as well, so you can actually physically hear the pitch bending backwards and forwards. So basically vibrato in slow terms is this. Obviously sped up it doesn't sound like that. So the ear naturally hears the higher of the two notes. That's just how the human ear hears the vibrato, and you're not really paying attention too much to the lower note, but that's exactly what's happening. So I'm just doing that on kind of a faster sort of basis. And so you're just altering the pitch of the note, but just rapidly, and that is called by the rolling of the finger. So an example of what some of you may think is vibrato is this, and it's not quite right because you haven't got the rolling and you're not really bending the pitch so much. Can some of you kind of see what I'm doing there? I actually find it quite difficult to do because I'm used to kind of doing vibrato the way it should be done. So what some of you might be doing is just, I suppose what I can only describe as kind of pulsing your finger up and down on the string. So it's not correct because it's not one of the three types. It's not finger, it's not wrist, and it's not arm vibrato. And it's incorrect because the pitch is staying more on the same pitch. So all you're doing is just kind of wiggling the finger about on the string. So correct vibrato, as I said before, would be kind of so almost not quite playing the note and then maybe the semitone or the note directly underneath it. Maybe not quite that, I'm kind of exaggerating just for the purpose of this video. But when you're doing that finger wiggle, you're kind of, it almost does sound the same, but you're just pulsing the finger up and down on the string. So in other words, the string, the finger isn't moving anywhere. The finger is just literally pulsing. Can you see how I'm just pressing the string up and down? And that's not going to be vibrato because you're not pulling the note back. Also, you're not going to get a very nice sounding vibrato. It's going to sound very wobbly. It's going to sound very warbly. You're not really going to be able to increase the speed. It's not going to sound warm. It's not going to sound passionate. All those things that you get with vibrato. If you're doing the finger vibrato, you're seeing because you're doing the finger vibrato and you're just pulsing up and down on the string, what that's actually doing is making the string move too much here, so that when I'm bowing, can you hear the kind of scratchy or the almost kind of vacant kind of sound that you're getting with the bow, because almost the bow is vibrating too much up and down on the string because I'm moving the string. You may be able to get it going a little bit faster and slower, but again, it isn't going to sound anywhere near as passionate or as vibrant or as, you know, nice sounding as how I've just done it. So there we go. So hopefully that's an example of the kind of vibrato that you need to develop on from. So that should hopefully give you a frame of reference. Again, if you want to know how to do vibrato, there are loads of videos on YouTube. I've got one myself, which is underneath, and I'll link that directly underneath. But hopefully this will give you an example of what some of you might be self-teaching at home, and what some of you might be achieving and what you might think is vibrato. So, you know, you're getting there, you're on the right road. What you need to do is just develop and try and roll that finger rather than just pulsing it on top of the string. So, you know, it's a means to an end, pulsing on top of the string, but it isn't going to be proper vibrato. And my motto is, if you're going to do something, then you might as well do it well. So there we go. I hope that's been helpful. I hope this video hasn't been too long. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, watch all my other videos, all that kind of good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.